Good afternoon, Dracut. My name is Gordy Scott. I'm the lead co-host for today's show, and we want to welcome you guys to our live show today, What's Happening Dracut, live from Old Home Day here in Dracut, outside of the high school. Again, I'm your host, Gordy Scott. I'm here with, we have a bunch of special guests today, but I'm here with my good friend Phil Thibault, John Zimini, and a bunch of students from actually all over the place, mostly from Dracut. We got some Central Catholic. Isabella, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Glad you could be with us today.
So go ahead, introduce yourselves, guys.
I'm Isabella McCarthy. I go to Dracut High School.
I'm Sophia Forrestal. I go to the RMS.
I'm Wesley Barrett. I go to the Greater Lowell Technical Vocation School.
Awesome.
I'm Tyler Smith, and I go to Greater Lowell Tech.
Preston Braga, and I go to DHS.
I'm Alexis Camara. I go to Central Catholic.
I'm Jared Cripps, and I go to Methuen.
Jared's
Awesome.
a very good basketball player, by the way, for those of
Really?
you. Yes, yes.
Awesome.
So, guys, welcome to the show. It's great. What a beautiful day, John.
Isn't it unbelievable?
This
It's
is
such
great.
Beautiful weather. We couldn't ask for it. Thank you, God, for such a
Yes, unbelievable.
Absolutely beautiful.
So, what have you guys been up to since our last show? I know we've got a big show coming up Wednesday.
big show on Wednesday, folks. We got a lot of things going on. Phil has brought in a special guest for us. Phil, why don't you tell us a little bit about
So
it?
we'll be talking with Dan Phelps, our new Economic Development Director.
And I'm working on a couple of secret guests that we might have. There's some explosive stuff happening in one department in town over this next couple of weeks. And you're going to hear about some of it on Tuesday, but Wednesday we're going to talk more about it. We'll talk a little bit about it today.
I'd be remiss if we, obviously today is a day of celebration here in Dracut. We're here at Old Home Day. This is a staple here now in the community. This has been going on for several, tens of years.
20 years.
20 years now. But we'd be remiss. Today is 9/11, so we'd be remiss not to talk about the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I remember where I was. I was at home getting ready to go to work. The news came on. We saw the plane collide into the North Tower in New York City, and then I was on watching the news. They had it live, and then the second plane came in to hit the South Tower, and you just felt your heart drop. If you weren't really there, some of these younger folks that are with us today on the set didn't actually see it when it happened, but my heart just dropped, and it's hard to put into words what you felt. John, do you remember that day?
Vividly, like it was yesterday. Both my daughters were in grade school. Hi, Lou. How are you? Lou Deveris, the famous Lou Deveris. My daughters were in grade school at the time at St. Monica's in Methuen, and I happened to be getting my coffee going into work, and I saw it was all over the news. And then while I'm watching, the second plane goes into the tower. It was just heartbreaking to watch.
And do you remember what the logo was after the motto was after that? We will never
forget.
We'll
never forget.
Phil, what was your thoughts?
I was at work. I mean, it was a beautiful day, much like today. It started off exactly the same way. It was cool in the morning, bright, sunny, blue skies. So at the office, I had coworkers. They're listening to Howard Stern. So of course, I mean, that's getting the feed of exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And when the first tower collapsed, he announced that the tower was collapsing, and I said to my coworkers, "Well, you put it on a real station so we can know what's really happening." But my God, it was really happening.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Now I know you guys you guys weren't old enough when 9/11 happened in 2001. But what's your thoughts on what 9/11 means to you, and do you guys remember what happened?
So after 9/11, my dad got deployed overseas because of 9/11, and my mom was pregnant with my sister, so she had to go through that pregnancy alone. But
How long was your father deployed?
do
you remember?
I don't know the exact dates, but yeah.
Make sure you thank him for his service from us.
Yeah.
I have a question for all of you, if anybody can answer this. Does anybody know who's a famous name from Dracut that was involved?
John Okanowski.
John Okanowski. You all know.
Yep.
That's very good. I'm glad to hear that you guys know that.
Yeah.
John Okanowski had a farm.
I actually went to New York to see like the memorial and
You did.
everything, and I saw his name and everything. Yeah.
He was the pilot.
Yeah, of the first
plane that flew into the.
Yep.
It really changed. It made Dracut really be part of it.
Yeah.
In a real negative way. Yeah, but we'll never forget what happened that day.
Yep.
Yep.
And like you said, John, it has a special meaning here in Dracut because John Okanowski was the pilot of American Flight 11 that flew from Boston, and that was the first one to hit the North Tower. And I know his wife Peggy has been on a lot of the media recently, and his 3 daughters, Mary, Caroline, and Laura. Our hearts go out to them today in remembrance of what happened that 20 years ago. And I know they're local farmers. I didn't know them personally. I have seen Peggy around town, like in the grocery store or whatnot. But he was a local farmer. He grew hay, blueberries, peaches, things like that. John, did you know John Okanowski very well?
I didn't know. I had been in the town a short time by that time, probably about 6 years. I did not know John personally. I had met him and had some interaction with him, but not really know him like I know you, Gordy. But all indications from everybody you ever talk about John Okanowski and the family. Of course, now I know the family very well. The family was very supportive of me when I ran for office here. The mother and father were great. Jim's a great guy. Peggy's super supportive, and she's just a wonderful family. And they were really impacted by this. And anybody can see by the monument that we have to John across from the fire station on Jones Ave.
Right, and the thing is, people don't really remember it until today. So today is a very special day. Phil, what are your comments on the Okanowski family, what they're feeling today? And
I mean, the whole family has always been very active in Dracut. I didn't know him personally. My father did. By all accounts, he was a gentleman.
And I watched the special last night, John. I know you saw it. You posted on Facebook.
Yes.
Wow, how powerful was that special on television last night?
I watched it. Every time I watch any around this time of year, it gets really heart-wrenching to watch it, to see it again, because to see people falling out of the sky from making a choice between being burned to death, or imagine having to make that choice.
That's right.
Holding on a window, and you have to make a choice between being burned to death or die falling to the ground.
And it was really dramatic. You saw I don't know why they had a camera. I think they were doing some sewer. The firefighters were looking at gases coming out of the sewer. And they went into the building. They saw the plane crash. They rushed over, ran into that building, and then you heard the people falling.
You could hear it, yeah.
It was just heart-wrenching.
No, it was terrible. It was an absolute terrible thing. And, I ended up, actually, my wife was working at the Campbell School at the time, and my daughters were at the Catholic school in Methuen. They kept them there. But Dracut was going to dismiss kids, so they needed people down to volunteer at the school to help call parents to make sure they were going to be home to receive the kids. And that's what I did. I went down there and volunteered to make some phone calls at that point. And then, of course, that night we had a mass at St. Francis for the fallen.
And I know every year the Okanowskis do a special thing with the church. They have they donate some food to the church and everything.
Yep.
Phil, your thoughts on that?
Again, in his memory, it's just a great thing to be doing.
Yeah.
So, Gordy, why don't we finish with these young people? Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do at Drake? You're at Richardson Middle School?
Yeah.
So what do you do there?
Like for schoolwork?
Yeah.
Right now we're in math. We're learning geometry.
Now, are you masked at school?
What's your thoughts on the mask? Do you like it? Do you think?
It gets annoying after a while, but it's definitely just to keep everyone safe. But yeah, if you're vaccinated, I think you're fine. But
now at the Volk, someone's going to the Volk, right? Do you guys mask at the Volk?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
What do you think about it?
I don't like it, but I feel like some people should have to, because if you're not vaccinated, I think you should have to. But if you're vaccinated, I personally think you should have the choice.
Are you any of you guys vaccinated?
Yeah,
I'm fully vaccinated. Yeah,
Oh,
I
good.
still wear the mask though.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm fully vaccinated.
I am too. You're a cheerleader, you told me?
yeah, so right now I'm off kind of because I don't do Pop Honor anymore, and high school didn't sign a waiver for me to be on the team yet. So in winter, I'm hoping that they can sign the waiver so I can go on the team.
Good for you. And you, Gordy tells me you're a good basketball player.
Yeah, I've been playing in a few years though, because our 8th grade season got canceled because of COVID.
Okay.
So now I'm doing full year of lacrosse.
Oh, good. And how about you? You hurt yourself playing my favorite sport.
Yeah, I can't play until the spring, but I'll play lacrosse in the spring.
Great. And how about you?
I play football.
Football. You
Yeah.
playing now?
Right now, yeah.
Did you have a game yet?
First game is on Thursday. I'm not sure though. I think.
Who are you going to play?
Lynn, I think, or it might be a scrimmage. I'm not sure.
Are you on the varsity?
I'm on freshman.
Oh, good for you. You're a big guy.
Thank you.
Well, guys, thank you
so much for stopping by, and
you.
We'll hope to see you soon.
All right.
Thanks again. Make sure you
Tyler,
tell your
get
parents
better.
to watch us.
All right, I will.
Have a great day.
Bye now.
All right, so it was nice to have the kids come on the show.
Nice.
and-
Anybody that wants to stop by, if you're down here and you happen to be watching us on Facebook Live,
Right.
stop by. We'll bring you on.
Absolutely.
Be happy to, you know?
So, now that we've talked about 9/11, my heart just, we've got to get back to some news that's going around Dracut. So I don't know if you guys heard about this. It was on the major news channels within Boston. It's about the road rage incident that happened on the 4th of September at 7:15. That happened on Pleasant Street. If you haven't heard about it, the suspect that had a road rage incident and he shot at a couple with a baby that was from Lowell but driving through Dracut. And the following Wednesday, so 2 days later, the suspect actually rammed into a truck and was arrested with a gun. And his name is Brian Santana Moyet. He's 22 years old. So they did capture him. He crashed his Honda CRV into a truck on the 6th. And before that is when he shot that vehicle in Dracut.
Wow.
We see a lot of this now. We had Heidi Komborowicz on the show.
Yes.
With her son getting shot in Lowell. There seems to be a lot of violence, a lot of shootings recently close to home, like here in Dracut. John, what are your thoughts about why does that seem to be happening more now than, than
I
before?
think this whole COVID thing has had an enormous amount of an effect on us all. And I think that it has had an effect on people being cooped up. They have no patience anymore. But a lot of the thugs out there are starting to be more brazen, because I think that they don't think that the police are paying attention like they were before COVID.
Or if they do get caught, maybe they don't.
And they don't get prosecuted by certain prosecutors, and certain district attorneys have taken a whole new look at this thing, So I think that we need to get more vigilant with that stuff. And obviously, you're in Massachusetts. We're in liberal Massachusetts. What do you expect?
Right.
Phil,
your thoughts.
I mean, you certainly have the thinking of defund the police comes into that, and you think that emboldens some people to act out the way they are. It's shocking. I live off of Pleasant Street myself, and when I heard it on the news and I said that happened 500 feet from my house, really, it's shocking.
Yeah,
shocking.
So and these incidents continue to happen, and it seems to be younger people. So I know the person that shot Adrian Komborowicz was 18. This person was 22, and it just hopefully they get the message and they get that these things aren't right, and they have to.
I just think there's a serious lack of respect for life, and it's a shame that we have a bunch of people growing up in an era where they're watching this constantly on TV, people getting shot. Look in Chicago this year. So far this year, in 8 months, 3,000 shootings. I think it's almost 3,200 shootings.
Wow.
I read in the paper the other day. It's unbelievable. 86 shootings last weekend. I mean, are you serious? Why that mayor isn't being run out of town is just beyond my belief, because that's unacceptable in any community, let alone in an American city. Anywhere, it's just unacceptable. But that's what we live in right now. There's a lot of hate going on, a lot of dissension to different things, and it's a shame. It really is.
Where are we?
We're at Old Home Day. We're at Old Home Day, folks. Our floor manager wants to say, where are we? And there's our shot from Old Home Day.
And
look at that.
We're going to talk more about Old Home Day.
Yeah.
You can see I did about 3 laps down here before we started the show. There's a lot of great stuff down here to do, and a lot of great food. A lot of people here today. Beautiful day. You can't ask for a better day.
So I walked here from my office because I was in full anticipation that Gordy was going to buy me fried dough again.
Is he going to do
and
that?
I'm told that no, because because he's trying to watch his weight.
Yes.
So he's so he's one of these people that thinks whatever is good for him is good for you.
Yeah.
What's good for the goose is not so good for the game.
So when I heard that, I said, well, gee, I was going to buy you fried dough.
Three of them. He was not only one, he was going to buy me 3 of them.
But since you're not doing that, too bad.
All right, so I want to get into another news story that What's Happening Dracut broke about the new firefighter chief.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got, as you know, Gordy, I have a lot of little birdies in town that like to sing to me. So I get people calling me early this week saying, the chief's about to be announced. They're about to announce who the new chief is going to be. So we kind of broke this story early on, saying that, we brought it forward saying that, there's 3 candidates. We know that the top candidate was Alex Volpe in terms of scoring the highest. He got a 93. And then you get Mr. Mackey, who's a deputy chief. He got a 90.
Right.
And then Rich Patterson, who's a deputy chief and been a long time firefighter here in Dracut, he got a 70. And so this was all determined through an assessment that was done that the town paid for. So, but we have it from inside information that the manager will announce on Tuesday that the appointment will be going to Rich Patterson. Now, I have no access to grind for any of them. I don't have a favorite son in any of them. I don't particularly, like one over the other in any. It's not about personalities with me. It's about qualifications and what's best for Dracut. But this is going to be another ultimate political appointment. Right. And we may have more. I'm hoping that we will have a lot more on Wednesday. There'll be some real good inside baseball stuff for us to bring out on Wednesday. If the ducks line up right, But some people are afraid to come on the show, that, Gordy. So, but I'm working on it, and we're getting more people.
So if Rich Patterson is appointed the new chief, what do they say to Alex Volpe and Mr. Mackey?
It's not your time, son. That's what the political power will say to that person, to Alex Volpe. Now, I understand that Mackey did not want the job, but because they didn't want to open it up to all the lieutenants in the department, Mackey got into the fray and said that he'll go for the job. But I'm under the impression, and I don't know this for positive, that I have not spoken to him, so I will qualify that by saying, but I have been told that he did not want the job, and it was basically to keep it to the 3 that were eligible to be candidates.
And so it doesn't seem like the score comes into play then. So why do they score them?
You want to know? That's true. You have to ask the manager that question, because the manager's probably being pressured by Joe DeRocco, who everything in town is based on Joe DeRocco. Everything. If Joe DeRocco doesn't approve it, I tell you, it's amazing that he's got such power over these people. Just amazing.
So Phil, do you want to chime in on this, the firefighter chief?
Yeah. So I probably know Deputy Patterson the best, because I've actually worked with him directly on projects I've had in town. Always a very good professional relationship, discussing the projects with him. Of course, I argue my points from my client's point of view. He argues his safety points from the town and the fire department. I can understand that. And in discussion, you kind of work out what your differences may be, and you move along. So always had the most respect for the man. I think he does a great job. Unfortunately, what this does, I think, is put an asterisk next to his name. Fire chief asterisk Patterson. I mean, just like Ann Vandal. I was on the selection committee for the town manager search. We put forward 4 candidates, and we didn't feel that Ann Vandal, when compared to the other candidates, met the same criteria, or it didn't rise to the top. And again, so I think just like with Chief Patterson now, Ann Vandal will have an asterisk next to her name, that town manager asterisk Ann Vandal, because of a political appointment.
And really, what burns me too, when I was on the recreation board, we had similar things that we did. Skateboard park. That's a good example. So I was on the skateboard park committee, and we came up with a presentation for him, a recommendation, and then at the end of the day, the town manager just did what he wanted to do anyway.
So what do you have these committees for if you're not going to pay
That's
attention
my
to
point.
them?
Is that's, and they're asking, hey, these people don't want to volunteer for these committees, to be on the finance committee, to be on this committee. It's because at the end of the day, when you make a recommendation, it doesn't seem like that recommendation carries any weight with it. So why did you go through all that time and effort to do all that?
But they'll try to deflect the blame, and they'll blame somebody else.
It sends a signal to the community that your voice just doesn't matter, because in the end, the political forces are going to do whatever they think they want to do. Now Joe DeRocco has been instrumental in Ann Vandal, as Phil talked about, getting the job. Her job's political now, and now Rich Patterson's going to have that mantra. But I got to tell you the truth. After 20 years on the force, or 25 years on the force, or 30 years on the force, whatever it is, it's all about getting that last high three. And in Joe's world, it's, you go up the ladder, you go through the political force, because after all, everything he's ever gotten has been political, right? He got the job politically. He didn't win it on merit. He won it by being with the right politicians at the time. And that's how he thinks. And of course, he thinks that's what we think like. Right. And we don't. Can you name anybody that I've ever appointed? I served 9 years on the Board of Selectmen, and not once did I ask anybody to be appointed to a position. I never asked the manager. I never asked the board. If an appointment came before me, I voted for it on the merits, or I didn't vote for it on the merits of that particular person, not on politics. And I lost some friends over stuff like that.
And speaking of politics, but in the news lately has been the issue of the lawsuits have come to light again. So I was reading an article the other day about the 2 federal lawsuits that are still going through. They're still in motion, and everything's been held up because of COVID. The courts are behind because of COVID. But I did find out from this article that Justin George and David Chartrand is over $4 million combined. And then I also didn't know that the police chief Bartlett has filed a suit with the Mass Commission Against Discrimination, MCAD.
Right.
And again, these are held up in.
And he's going to win that. That's because Ann Vandal wouldn't let him come back to work.
But again, it goes to this political.
It's all political. It's all political. They don't like this. They don't like Barrett. They don't like Bartlett, Chief Bartlett. They don't like him, and they're going to do everything they can to get rid of him in whatever way they can. And fortunately for him, he's protected through civil service, right? So they're not going to get rid of him easily, and it'll cost the town money again. But there's going to be another lawsuit, guaranteed, and we'll talk about that on Wednesday. That you got to believe that Vulgaris will be filing a lawsuit, and believe me, it'll be a good one. And Joe DeRocco won't be around when it gets settled. He'll be off the board in 2 years because he's already announced.
He doesn't care anyway because it's not his money.
It's not his money, and he knows that the town's got deep pockets. He doesn't care. Right. He really doesn't care. There's a lot of lawsuits in town that are connected. You can follow the money path right to him, and that's just the way it is. And people are going to say that I dislike Joe DeRocco. I dislike Joe DeRocco for what he's doing to this town.
And the reason I want to bring these lawsuits up is because we have some positions that are going to be open up on the Board of Selectmen. Speaking of this political pressure that can be put on, but just quickly, Justin George has a over $2 million lawsuit for harassment because he was called, and we saw this on TV, double dipper.
Yep.
They asked him for a mental health assessment because of his PTSD.
Yep.
And they said he abused sick time. So I don't know how they're going to get around that one unless they settle out of
First
court.
of all, they released the PTSD thing, and I mean that's his medical record.
It's right.
The town, somebody within the town leaked that.
Right.
During that whole thing, and Justin is going to win. Unfortunately, he's going to win. Fortunately for him and his family, hopefully it'll give him some closure to it. But he's not, obviously not a happy guy that he's got to be working under the situation he is, and he is back to work.
But when these come to fruition, these lawsuits, we end up paying for it.
Absolutely,
all
taxpayers.
Of us. The taxpayers. So something's going to have to
get
go
the
up.
screwdriver out, because that's what's going to happen, folks. You're going to get screwed again. That's just the way it is.
The other one is David Chartrand. So he has a $1.8 million lawsuit for the unlawful and unconstitutional targeted bullying and retaliating misconduct of the town manager.
Do you see a pattern developing?
Exactly.
Yeah. Just
but he was stripped of his duties.
Yep.
He was stripped of his duties, and he claims that it's injured his career and his reputation, and I would agree with that.
It's again, politics at its worst. Why the politicians get involved in the micromanaging of any department is beyond me.
And then I was reading,
but you know, Gordy, it's all about the underment. It's all about the underment, folks. As my good friend John McDonough would say, it's all about the underment.
And he's watching.
And he is watching.
So the last one that we have outstanding is, and I thought I heard about this, but Police Chief Peter Bartlett for his lawsuits for an ongoing refusal to allow him to go back to work. So he had a 7-month absence, for those of you that don't remember, due to his injury. And so he's filed a case about regard to discrimination and retaliation. But I didn't know this piece, and I read this in the article, that he actually asked the town to settle, and he would take a retirement package of $262,000, and they refused.
Yeah. Wow.
So, that might be that might be cheaper than what they're going to end up paying in a lawsuit.
No, exactly. Exactly.
But having said that, as we know, we said in our last show that certain selectman Jesse Forcier will no longer be.
And who predicted that, by the way?
You did. So he will no longer be returning, and our friend Phil Thibault was on our good friend Warren Shaw's radio show earlier today.
Yep.
And I think he asked about that.
Warren did ask me on, and of course, you never say never.
A little arm twisting going on.
Who knows? But it's a long way off. It's a lot of work. Who knows? But again, you never say never. But
I'm going to tell you this right now. There is a good candidate in there, and not that Phil wouldn't be a good candidate, but there is a good candidate that's running for re-election. His name is Tony Archinsky. He's done a great job for the town. He will be unbeatable in that field, no matter what the field comes up now, because he has a record that he can stand on. But there are others that are looking at the job. One is Allison Volpe. Allison Volpe's on the school committee, and I think she'll do a tremendous job, and she'll be a very good candidate for that position. And the third candidate that I'm told is already in the race, no matter what. He's in the race because Lucky has told him to get in the race, and that's going to be Matt Sheehan. And Matt Sheehan is one of the biggest political hacks you can have in Dracut. I mean, he's got his job in Lowell by brown-nosing the right people, by knowing the right people. I mean, he's on 6 different boards, and he sits on those boards like, he's fidgeting and moving around, and he doesn't want to be there.
I have to admit, I have never seen anybody so disinterested in being on a committee.
Yeah.
Why are you there?
Yeah.
Why are you there?
Why? Because he was told that he's going there, or he was told to apply for it so he could be one of those political appointees to certain boards to try to get control of stuff. That's just the way they do. Richard Silvio was watching. I know he's out in, I think, Maynard at his nephew's birthday, but he wanted to ask, where's Ann, because he's been trying to get in touch with Ann for the last 2 weeks. Well, I understand that Ann has been under the weather, and we're not going to get into what it's all about. I really don't know for sure what it is, but I know that she's been a little bit under the weather, and we're not going to get involved.
I do know it was something serious. She's recovering at the moment.
So we wish her well.
Absolutely.
We want her to get,
absolutely.
We'd like to see her get better and return to the work so we can kick her around a little bit more.
So of course it wouldn't be a show if we didn't talk about all this politics stuff, but we're here at Old Home Day, so we've got...
Where are we? Dracut Old Home Day.
So I know I've been coming to this probably for 8 or 9 years probably since I've known about it, and I think it gets bigger every year. The car show is unbelievable. I don't know if you guys actually went out and looked at some of the cars. My favorite was the white Thunderbird, the convertible. That was beautiful. But John, your thoughts on Old Home Day?
I rushed in here from my daughter's Compellum because it's my younger daughter's baby shower today also. So I'm going to take a minute to walk through, and then I'm going to run home. And you know what, Phil? Maybe I'll go with you, and you can buy me a fried dough.
Absolutely.
But we'll bring Gordy along so there's mouth waters.
Right.
But yeah, this is a great event, folks. This has been going on for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
20 years.
20 years is 20th anniversary.
And it's just so well organized. I mean, it's like clockwork now. They were out here yesterday, early in the morning, staking off all of the different booths, areas for the booths, and they were here late last night. I came through late last night, and they were still here, setting up different booths. And there's a lot of cooperation that goes on with this, folks. A lot of cooperation. The police, the DPW, the schools, the fire. It's unbelievable, and that Old Home Committee does a fantastic job. And I don't know if Dave Paquin is the head right now.
Dave Paquin is still very much involved. The Kuhn is still involved. There are a younger generation coming up now to help take over, and they've been doing a fantastic job. Lindy Shaw, as a matter of fact,
awesome.
has been doing an awesome job.
She's going to be a good organizer for that because she's a go-getter. Now, one of the things that the Old Home Committee does, for the folks that out there may not know, the money that's raised here is put back into the community in very varying ways. For instance, they may buy a computer for the police department that's not in the budget, or they may donate something to the town for like signage or something of that nature.
I know they do some landscaping in different areas.
They do. They take care.
A couple of years ago at the Varnum Park, which is at the corner of Willard and Arlington and Broadway, they had put Christmas lights. So I mean, they do there's Christmas lights here at the school grounds. There's some that are now across town in Dracut Center. So it's fantastic.
Well, they do a lot. They do a lot of good things with the money, and it's quite obvious. But don't forget, it's not only about Old Home Day. It's about the firefighters too. The firefighters have a training area over here, I think, behind us.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, and maybe we can get Gary to get the boom up, and maybe they can get a shot of the firefighters over there. And
you may see smoke coming out of one of these trailers because they do some training.
Because the firefighters are way over behind us, Gary. Maybe you can use that boom. This is a great shot, folks, by the way. More innovation at DATV. Yes. Look at this shot. You're going to see this shot.
Great. I gotta give a shout out to all the boys here at Dracut Access TV.
There you go.
They do a great job. We got a great new boom mic, boom camera that they're using now. That's what you're actually looking at with the shot. And Gary's pretty good with that, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
He's quite an actor. He's doing a great job with this. But they have a display and they do some stuff going on.
Yeah, we have Nemlek here. I mean, just
look at it.
Great job.
Yeah, great job, Gary. Awesome job. Look at this. It's just like we're on WCBB TV in Boston, right?
So certainly we want everybody to come down. This event goes until 5 o'clock this afternoon.
Right. So if you're watching us live, come on down. You won't believe the food here is excellent. Come by and see the DATV van. We've got candy for the kids. We've got pens. We got chip clips. They've got some. What else do they have? Pens?
Oh, they got for DATV, but I mean, there's lots of vendors here and lots of food.
The big take today was the sunglasses.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Sunglasses were a big take. But what I also want to bring up is I had been bringing this up on our previous shows. Mm-hmm. Is the old town hall. Right. So they finally broke ground over there, and they're making some progress, albeit very slow progress. But they are making progress. Your thoughts of how long you think that's going to take, and is it really going to be worth the effort at the end of the day?
Well, let me just say this: the reason for it, helping the veterans get into housing, is a good reason. I mean, it's cost the town almost $6 million, I think, in infrastructure stuff that we gave. We gave money to the contractor and
what fund? From what fund did we give it?
From CPC. We're using that. We used $3 million out of that.
Close to $3 million.
Close to $3 million. But the whole thing is costing a lot of money for the taxpayer, and it's really not that affordable to live in those. Right? It's not the 3% affordable like Dracut Housing Authority. Right. It's affordable according to income guidelines and 60%
Yeah.
of your income, if
I
I'm not
expect
mistaken, right, Phil?
my expectations are pretty high for that building because
Yeah.
of all the money that's going into it.
Well, it'll be a nice building, no doubt. It'll be a nice building. And the group that's doing it is out of Lowell. What's the name of it?
ABC,
Acre? Better Acre?
That's
Yeah.
community team.
Community for a Better Acre.
Yeah, right. So we got a bunch of people
on that.
Well, I think it's fantastic. I think on Facebook we recently saw that This Old House was brought in to do kind of a spot episode, and so from my sources are saying that they're actually planning 6 episodes from This Old House to go to the town hall annex to kind of follow the project through. So they just did one fairly recently, and that I believe will be airing in October at some point. But there'll be 5 more planned. And I believe they have them going through June of next year. So, to answer your question, how long is this project going to take? Till June of next year.
Okay, well that's good to know. But what else do we want to talk about here at Old Home Days? I know Gary's currently eating some Thai food, and he says it's excellent. Gave it the thumbs up. So.
I believe
Thai food?
Yeah.
I believe it was from Tantawan, who was a vendor here.
Oh,
Yeah.
they got a place.
They do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so if you're new to Dracut and you're watching our show today, if you've never been down here, you've got to come down. It's in front of the high school. You can't drive down here. You can get a little bit close.
Lakeview Ave is
but
shut down in front.
Parking's a little tough, so if you can park a few blocks away, and then just a short walk in here. There's a great car. The car show is unbelievable. There must be 200 or 300 cars out there anyway.
Did they have the road race this morning?
Yeah, they did have the road race. I saw a lot of people walking around, and those results are available online. They were announcing the website. You can go see your results online. But just the vendors, you get to see new businesses that are in town.
Sure.
You get to talk to them, ask questions, and all the sports in town.
They're all
here.
booths.
Football, volleyball, so all the different sports.
Any political booths here? Any political, like Republicans or Democrats?
No,
I don't remember seeing anything this year.
I don't think you'll see very much of that typically.
That's too bad because politics. There you go. Politics is the base of our country, and Abraham Lincoln would go to a fair.
Absolutely.
And start talking on a stage of a fair.
And I know on our normal show we don't get to talk about national politics, so I do want to talk a little bit about national politics. Obviously today is 9/11. I saw President Biden was at the ceremony in New York, paying his respect to those that had lost their lives. But let's talk a little bit about Afghanistan. Phil, your thoughts on how the withdrawal happened? Do you think it was good? What are your
my first reaction, apart from the political aspect, is the humanitarian aspect of it. Is just it's an abomination. I mean, to leave all those people behind like the way we did, and essentially to suffer terrorist attacks in their own countries, it's just appalling.
And John, I know you have a strong opinion on what we did in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
how we did it.
Totally debacle. A total debacle on the way that was handled. Now, I agree that we probably should have been out of there before now, and we should have gotten out, but I still believe that we should have kept some kind of military presence there, like we do in many other countries, a military presence not to run the country, but to keep our interests in the area. Think about this now. We have no interest or no information that we can get from Pakistan. Pakistan has nuclear weapons, many nuclear weapons, and now we have to depend on the Taliban to tell us what Pakistan is doing because we don't have a military or a secret service or a CIA presence in Afghanistan any longer. Strategically, that was a very important position for us to be in terms of gathering intelligence on terrorism and other areas. The bottom line here is that it's a huge mistake not having something there. We should have maybe kept Bagram Airport for strategic reasons as long as we could. I know it would have been putting people in harm's way, but that's what we do all around all over the world. So The debacle over there is how it was handled, not the fact that we agree that it should be drawn down, but leaving $87 billion worth of equipment there.
Right, that was...
Now you got the Taliban, a terrorist organization that is the best equipped military in the world. Basically, it compares with us.
Right.
So watch, China's going to swoop in.
Yeah, so there was one statement that was made, and I believe it was by the current administration, that kind of made me do a double take. And why I get surprised at some of this stuff, I'm not sure why. But they're appalled that there are no women in the Taliban government. It's like, are you, again, how can I be shocked by some of this stuff? It's like
they beat them in the streets. So
of course they're not in the government because it's for their own safety. I mean, that's why they're not going to school anymore.
Right. Now, how about the 5 terrorists that were let out of Guantanamo Bay for Bo Dirtball, or whatever the hell his name is. Bird Dog, but I call him Dirtball. The bottom line is they let them out in exchange for him, and now where are they sitting? They're on the Taliban's parliament. They're in the leadership of Afghanistan.
Now
the masterminds behind 9/11 are now in control. It's amazing, just amazing.
So President Biden did speak to the national audience.
That's really too bad.
This past week.
Yeah.
And he's asking for mask mandates, and he's asking for all federal employees, we have to be vaccinated. And I know that's affecting me. I can't get into my job, can't get into work without being vaccinated. I am vaccinated.
Yep.
So it's not an issue for me. But I know there are some people that, especially women that I work with that are pregnant, that are concerned about getting the vaccine because there hasn't been enough studies to find out what happens to a woman that's pregnant or what it will be their side effects. Can it harm the baby? So I know there's some of those things, and it's really a shame because those people aren't allowed to go to work. Again, I don't think they took a lot of that into consideration when he put this forward. Phil, your thoughts on President Biden's speech?
I was having a discussion with a mutual friend this morning, John.
Okay.
At coffee.
Yeah.
And I mean, the subject comes up, and again, when you're pro-choice, it doesn't mean you're an anti-vaccine person. You're pro-choice.
Right.
The desire for somebody to want everybody to get a vaccine to be safe. When I say to them, well, if you've received the vaccine, aren't you safe already? And it's like, well, he wants to be safer. I'm not sure. So I liken it to, well, I don't want to have high blood pressure, so I don't want you to eat salt.
Right.
It's like, how does that really protect you? If I'm taking care of myself, then I'm fine.
There's our
hey, Sean, come on in.
Kelly.
Come on in. Say hello. Grab a mic.
There's Sean Kelly joining
us. The famous Sean Kelly. Here you go.
Mill City Weather.
Mill City Weather.
We're on the air. Yeah. Grab a mic.
You know how to do this.
I do.
So Sean, I saw earlier you were doing a weather report. It was really great.
I was, yeah. They
So can you give the people watching? Can you give us a brief weather report?
Very nice day today, 70s. Dew points are going to start to go up a little bit tonight. And then as we get into tomorrow night, we're going to start to get into some rain. But tomorrow's going to be a nice day. So, and a very nice day for this time of the year, of course.
And it looks like the rest of the week is going to be close to 80, right?
Most of the week, yeah. We have some more rain coming in for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But other than that, it's going to be a nice week.
So Sean, hi, Dave Pakewood. Sean, so you did a weather report live.
I did. Yep.
Outdoors. How was that?
With the green screen, I think that was the first time. I've never experienced that before.
Wow.
It was very nice to do it outside, of course, with the green screen.
That's a good way of doing it. But
now, Sean, what did you get anything good here at Old Home Day? Did you get any good food?
Saw a lot of no food yet. Saw a lot of the vendors already. There's a lot of community people here, so it's a nice community event.
Now, Sean, you have some work with Channel 7, right?
I do, yeah.
So what do you do for Channel 7?
Weather producer.
Weather?
Yep.
All the weather stuff? Do you do the graphics and stuff
all
like
the
that?
Graphics.
All the graphics?
Pretty much most of them, 80%.
Are you doing it all day, all week?
I do about 30 hours of it.
30 hours?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And we have them, folks, here in Dracut.
Right.
Yep.
We have him, and he's our ace weatherman.
Right.
Isn't that something?
That's something.
Phil?
Oh, absolutely. And when Sean was interested, we talked about it, and I said, hey, come to Dracut. We'll do anything for you.
That's right. That's right.
But a big topic this week, as you know, the school committee meeting's coming up this week. And you're going to see, I got a feeling you're going to see the parents there again asking about the mask. And I know that was a heated topic. We had exclusive access to that. You shot some exclusive video for that. And what do you think? I mean, I guess I can't blame the school board committee because they're doing what's safe, they think is right. But we talked to the kids. We had some kids on early on. None of them really liked it.
No, they don't.
They said they're just kind of putting up with it. They have to do what they have to do.
But they're complying because they're indoctrinated.
Right.
They're complying.
But what do you think is going to happen this week's school committee meeting?
Well, I know for a
You have
fact,
a
I can confirm that there will be a protest out in front of before the meeting. Again, there will be some sort of protest going on.
Do you think it will make a difference to the...
I don't think it's going to make a difference, but I think at least they are being heard. Somebody is hearing them. And if you don't think you're going to make a purpose and you don't do anything, then you're absolutely not making a purpose. But if you put pressure on people, it does do something to them. They were aware you're there, and it makes them more transparent because they have to be. Hopefully.
And Sean, do you have any you want to put your 2 cents in about the mask?
I think it really comes down to the person. You know, if they feel that they should wear it, then wear it. And people have been vaccinated, but the numbers would show it. You know, so I think it comes down to the person.
Right, and I think that's what the parents are saying is, if I don't feel safe to send my son or daughter to school, I'll have them wear a mask. But I want to have the ability to send them without a mask if I feel that they're safe.
Yeah, I mean, there's times where you should wear them, of course. But I think it comes down to the person, really.
Right.
Phil, what say you?
That's what I would say.
Again, just because you don't want to wear a mask or you want to have somebody to have the option to do it, doesn't mean that you're anti-mask.
Right.
You want people to have their own options to make their own choices. So if you feel unsafe and you feel that a mask makes you safer, by all means, wear one. I would certainly never criticize for anybody who wants to wear a mask. But you're safe with your mask. I've been vaccinated. I don't want to wear a mask.
Right.
Sean, is there any possibility that we might see another hurricane this summer? Any
we're in peak season right now.
Right.
So, again, we are just tracking that other hurricane that we just had, and that's going to go down to the books. What was our hurricane? Ida. So that is one of those hurricanes where it did more damage in the Northeast, and a lot of people left their guard down because there was an EF3 tornado that moved through New Jersey that did a ton of damage. And if people think that just because you're in the Northeast, it'll never happen, but it'll happen.
Yeah, it does.
And a lot of flooding too.
Yeah.
A ton of flooding. New York City got that too. We got some here, some in the American Valley. Thankfully, not
Sean,
too much. But
do you know, did we break a record with rainfall this year? Or?
Yeah, we're just over 30 inches so far, and we're on track so far to be the wettest on record.
Can I be allowed to say it? Imagine if it was snow.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Everyone says that. So
how dare you?
I can tell you, so far it looks like it's gonna be a snowy winter. That's what we're looking at right now. La Nina winter. So
a snowy winter.
Snowy winter so
Good.
far, yeah. That's what we're looking at.
My tub will be used a lot in the snow.
My
tubby time in the snow will be. I love it in that tub at night when the snow's falling.
So we've seen 2 hurricanes that actually came up towards the New England area.
Yeah, I was up in Maine yesterday, and there was Hurricane Larry, which is going to go all the way up into Canada now, way up in the Arctic too, jumping over 5 feet of snow. So it's amazing to see. Typically, when you get storms like that, they weaken once they get into cooler waters. But this one, it's going to keep going and going. So it's kind of uncommon to see.
So, John, what do you have planned for the rest of the day? You're going to go back?
Well, I got to go back to my daughter's. I'm going to walk around and have Phil buy me some stuff, and then I'm going to go to, because I'm cheap, and like John McDonough says, I'm cheap. So I'm gonna have him do that, and then I'm gonna go back to the party, and I'm sure I'll have cleanup duty.
Now
maybe I'll Uber later on tonight, make some money.
Okay, so I'm gonna go.
Where are we, folks?
Dracut Old Home Day.
There he is. He's got to have another shot.
Yeah. So
look at this.
We have about, I think, 9 or 8 minutes left.
Yeah.
But Old Home Day goes until 5 o'clock, so please come down. It's a great event.
The show ends at 2 o'clock.
This show ends at 2 o'clock.
We're getting from Will, our cameraman, that we go off at 2. So
Can that Boone get a shot of Will?
yeah, can we get
Can
a
we
shot
get
of
a
our
shot of
camera
Will?
Shot of
there?
Will,
Will.
our camera guy.
Get on, wave
There
there,
he
Will.
is.
There you go.
There he is.
Will, one of our
He's been-
youngest volunteers.
He's been doing great on the cameras
All right,
for
this
us.
Awesome.
This weekend, actually tomorrow, is the start. Well, not the start because we had Thursday night. Tom Brady was in action. He won another game. But let's get some predictions. What do you think of the Patriots game this week against the Miami Dolphins, Phil? You have a prediction?
I think I'm going to go for the upset, and the Patriots will win.
You think it's the Patriots? I got the Patriots all the way. I think it's going to be a huge win. Mac's going to come out, show who he's going to be, a junior Tom Brady. That's my prediction. I think the Patriots are going to win by 17. I'll say 31-14.
Wow.
I am, first of all, I wish Mac all the success in the world. He's a nice young guy. But I don't watch the NFL until they start recognizing that we only have one national anthem and that we stand for our flag. I will not. I'm boycotting the National Football League.
Wow.
I will not watch it.
Sean, what do you got for the Patriots, you think?
I agree with that. It's gonna be a close game, but I think the Pats will take it.
Oh, so Sean,
Very
got it.
close.
Can we get our director
Very
to come
close.
on and praise our crew here, that what they do?
Yeah.
Can
Gary,
we get the
you come
director,
on?
Gary? Can you come on over here?
Gary,
pick up a mic. We want to give you some praise.
You guys don't understand what goes
We
behind
want-
the scenes,
we want
how hard
you
these
to-
guys work.
Right. Go ahead.
And I can't say enough to thank you guys for all the work that you guys put in throughout the year. And can you just say a few things about the team and who you guys got and how you guys...
Thank you so much. We have a staff of 5. We have 4 full-timers. It's myself as exec director. Ron Zimmerman's our operations manager, does all the training. We have a senior production technician, that's Nathan Vizina. Mike Dobbs is a production technician, and Andrew Nunez is also, he's our part-timer who was previously an intern. So that's the staff. Of course, we have a board of directors that looks at all the policy and supports what we do, and lots of member volunteers and producers. And we're just thrilled. If you haven't had a chance to visit our new facility, which we just had our 2-year anniversary, we're at 91 Mill Street, Suite 8 in the Mill, next door to where we used to be. 2.5 times the space, 2 studios, 2 control rooms. We just did a new kitchen TV set.
a cooking show, I heard.
For
The
cooking
rumor
shows,
is
yep, we'll
we
be
gotta-
launching something soon. But we are so happy that they brought Old Home Day back, because we all want to be back to normal as quickly as we can, and this screams we're back to some extent.
Right.
And it's a beautiful day. I mean, 70s and sunny. Thank you, Sean, for the
Thank
weather.
you, Sean.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we love being here because it's twofold. We're out here getting some of you guys out of the studio to do your shows, including Sean's weather,
Yep.
but also it's our chance to promote DATV. We've talked to a lot of people. We've got DATV swag. If you're watching and it's still early enough, come on down. We've got sunglasses and chip clips and candy and stuff like that. So we love being here.
You're here till 5?
Yeah.
Good.
And then
Great.
I just want to promote what you guys do for the sports too, because some people don't know, and I think you guys are doing live
Yeah,
broadcast now, right?
and Gordy, you've been involved in doing some
Right.
play-by-play for us. So we cover a lot of Dracut High School sports. We aim to do, and here comes Mike.
Hey, Michael!
Funny you should mention that, Gordy. I'm the sports guy.
Yeah, Mike.
Get in here, Mike.
Mike is our sports producer, and he goes out on all the shoots, most of them with the mobile van, which is here today. And we aim to do 4 to 5 of each different Dracut High School sport each season.
Yep, and we have field hockey coming up. We got soccer, boys and girls. I've got football, of course, coming up next week. So it should be a nice season. It's good to get back to things.
And it's good to know for the viewers that if you have a relative that lives in another state or whatever, they can stream that live on dracuttv.org, right?
That's right.
And these are live. Mike, am I right? These are live, so if you want to sit at home
unless
and eat
something otherwise
popcorn,
happens, we expect all of our sports broadcasts to be done live. So yes.
Awesome.
so you can sit at home, eat popcorn,
right.
invite the neighbors over, watch your son or
It's
daughter.
great
play
for the
sports.
grandparents too.
Right?
The grandparents don't have to go down to the freezing football field. They can watch it from the.
And as
comfort of their home.
as Gordy mentioned, we are live with sports on DATV 22. Of course, this is on channel 8. And then, of course, Municipal's on 99. But whether you're home with Comcast and Dracut and watching the channel, or you're away, you can go to dracuttv.org. You can live stream our 3 channels, and everything produced by members and staff is put on our video on demand as well. So then you can go back and watch it at your leisure.
All right.
Great job.
Thank you.
I think
job. Good to have you
we're
on.
going to close the show, but we just want to thank you guys again. You guys do a
I got to
great
give you
job.
some more jib shots.
All right.
Back to the gym.
Go for it. There's our crack crew, right?
Right.
They're
Absolutely.
unbelievable. They're unbelievable, the things they do.
Sean, I want to thank you for coming on the show. John, thank you for
Absolutely.
coming on our show. Phil,
Thank you. And certainly I want to remind everybody, this goes till 5 o'clock, so come down.
How much time do we have left there, guys? I think we have 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
We got 4 minutes. He wants to do another jib shot.
Okay, so we're going
Let's
to do
get
another
another-
jib shot. We're here live at Dracut Old Home Day, and we've got a big show coming up Wednesday.
Big show Wednesday, 6:30 live. We're going to have we have a special guest coming in, Dan Phelps. He's our new
Economic Development Director.
Development Director, and I'm working on a surprise. If I can convince this person to come in, it'll be very telling of what's going on down at a certain department in town. But
So
let's hope he gets.
The viewers don't want to miss the show. Is that
Don't
what you're
miss it. Do not miss our show. It's a great show.
And hopefully we'll have Sean with weather.
Sean with weather. Sean with weather. We got a Sean with weather, and now take a big shot here of Old Home Day.
Come on
Gary.
down to Old Home Days, folks. It's a great time.
It's a great day. I see Paul Morin out there, down there in the back. You can maybe see him. It's behind the sign, but look, they got.